Hey folks, it's Frithgar. Hey, how you doing? Welcome back to Farming Simulator 19. And the Great Plague has spread. The Great Plague that spread like an alien invasion that was chasing us down across the field has now engulfed everything, devoured all in its path, and left no survivors. Well, okay, it may have left some straw behind. It's amazing how quickly these weeds have grown through these swaths of straw. So, regardless, we're going to need to do some baling. But my first question, of course, is... has this field of canola over here also been affected by the weeds? It shouldn't have been. It does need lime. See? It says needs lime all the way over. But it's got no weeds. No weeds at all. What about the grass? Has the grass been affected? The grass has not yet been affected. So, we'll have a look over here. We want to go fruit types. We want to go to growth over here. So, we've got weeds over here. We've got weeds on field 23, and we've got weeds all over field 19. These here don't appear to have any weeds on them. And if you remove the weed cover, it then shows the other. So, the weed sort of goes over the top of all of it. And what I want to do now, you can see just sort of on the sides here where we sprayed for weeds on this one. So it should be all right for spraying for weeds. It should be okay. We've got straw over there that we're going to want to bale. But what I was thinking is we could actually get fast forward time a bit first, then start combining that field, and then we'll worry about the baling afterwards. So I'd like... oh, actually... oh no, the wool, we moved the wool, that's okay. Let's just check our animals, because we kind of forgotten about the animals. Well, I've kind of forgotten about the animals. I've just kind of been leaving them be. And we've still got more food than they need in their pen. So I'm still not able to clean them properly. Can't do anything about it. Water is fine for them. Horses over here, they could do with a little bit more hay. They'll be all right tonight, but we haven't ridden them very much. And then the chickens, we've just kind of got to wait for them to go up from 50% now, because we sold all of the brown chickens, we only have black chickens. So, I would say we want to do a little bit of riding of the horses. First up, I'm actually going to ride this one, because we haven't ridden this one for ages. We didn't ride it at all yesterday. So Tech Lime here is going to get a little bit of exercise, and we're going to go up along this way here. We did some contracting work with our new combine. We've also done all of our own land with our new combine, and now we need to do baling. So we're going to need to get this baler, and yeah, because I also want to exercise the horses. And I figure what we'll do is I will start fast forwarding time like this, and I'm going to do it on 60 times speed, which should be about right, because I reckon that we're going to want to fast forward time until the morning, which means that I am going to want these horses reasonably well exercised. I also wanted to come over here to see, and we do, unfortunately, we got one more of these redwood type trees right here. Those are the ones, that's the one that apparently gave me the problem. A lot of other people have said they also had problems with that one tree. And it shouldn't be the others. The others should be okay. So we got one more back there that we may have some issues with. But it doesn't look like there's going to be any more. And then we might, hopefully, as long as all goes well, be able to stuff our cattle back into this area in here. We'll be able to... ooh, great demand at barn. So what's the great demand for? I'm assuming that that is... ooh. Where should we go? If I go that way like that, and then I can press escape, he should keep running. He should just keep going. Great demand at the barn for... that's silage. That's just plain silage there at $600 per 1,000 litres. Plain silage has apparently taken a bit of a nerf in the prices, from what I can gather from 1.2. However, it's still pretty good. So if anybody knows a bit more about those prices and what other prices have been altered, I get the impression from recording the time-lapse that the bales for silage, they've actually put the prices for silage bales up rather than down, unless my settings are not on what they should be. But I did seem to do exceptionally well out of some silage bales the last time I sold some, so I'm quite pleased about that. How are we doing with the riding at the moment? We are... I'm riding Tech Lime at the moment. I'm on 48%. The other horse is only on 20%, which is not so good. So we've gone over these hills a couple of times here. Our field of grain is now ready and ripe, so I'm going to slow down. I'm going to stop time. It's 4:30 now. It's still okay here, and I don't think we'll worry about the mowing, and that will also give us some time to do some stuff to the animals a bit later on. So if I run this one back into the pen, and we can leave that one there, then we can get our... There. If you in the pen and you get off, he goes straight back into the stable. We go up to him and just click the mouse button a couple of times, and that brushes him off, and... Tech Lime here... 59% of daily riding, so that will push the price up a little bit. His price there, 25,000. I don't know if it went up or down. See, I don't know if you ride them at all. Does the price go up if you've got to take it all the way to 100% riding in order to be able to push them on? I still keep meaning to go and get some more mods for this game, and like the horse manager type mod and the groom and that. After Christmas. I'm recording like mad at the moment, trying to get everything done before Christmas. After Christmas, I'll have a bit more time, and I will start looking for some different mods and things like that, so that we can get a little bit of extra stuff into our gameplay. But I'm just... there's no point in me trying to do it before Christmas. Well, it is after Christmas for you. It's Boxing Day for you at the moment. Okay, question then. What did you get up to yesterday? I don't care if you celebrate Christmas or not. What did you do on December the 25th? Did you pig out on lots of food with family and friends? Did you just have a normal day at the office? You know, what did you get up to? There must have been something that you did. Let me know in the comment section down below. What did you do yesterday? And someone has told me that you can mow the crop. You can mow crop. I don't know quite what it does. I don't know if you can mow ripe crop or if you mow it in a stage before it gets ripe. It's actually something that we're going to check a minute. Let me stop you there a second. Shut you down a minute. We will go to this tractor right here. And I will take the trailer off. That one can go right there. I will take the front weight off here a minute. That one can go right there. Very elegantly done, the way I'm doing all this unhitching in very realistic fashion. I just want to very quickly see what happens with the whole mowing thing if you can do it on ripe crop, because somebody said that you can do it on unripe crop for wheat and barley. I don't know about oats. Maybe you can with oats as well, but I don't know about ripe crop with this. What I would love to see, what I'd absolutely love to see, is to be able to drop windrows down onto the floor with all the different crops, with wheat, barley, with canola, you know, like they do in Canada. Oops, didn't want to do that. Like you do in Canada. In Canada, you have the crop, don't you? Right. That's not actually mowing. It's just getting pushed over, and then the tractor wheel itself is destroying the crop, but the mower is not actually mowing anything. So let's just switch that one off. So we know that that's not going to be cutting it there. But no, what they do is, because it doesn't ripen properly in the fields up in Canada, you swath it all, don't you? You have a big swather, which basically looks like a combine without the muggins on the back. And it's just the header. And you some of them are trailed ones, some of them are just pulled along by a tractor. You just drive around the field, and you essentially mow the whole field, and you leave it in these windrows. And then you have a tractor that sorry, not a tractor. You have the combine goes along, but it has a pickup header on the front instead of a ordinary combine header. It's just got this little pickup header thing instead, and you follow the rows around and you pick them all up. I've yet to see. I really, really wanted to see that in the game, and a mechanic for that, but there doesn't appear to be. So I would guess that in order to do that, you'd have to have like a different harvest stage or something, because it would be before it got ripe, but after the flowers. And you know, this is now ripe and ready. Whereas what you'd actually have is it would be after the flowering stage of the canola, and then once it's formed the seed heads, and that's all there ready and done. And then you go, so you've got this huge, great big piece on the front of this header here, but that doesn't have like a belt or anything. It's a little bit odd. But no, you would have, instead of having the knives on the front and the side and everything like that, and harvesting this stuff while it's standing in the field, you don't do that. You go along and you harvest it while it's still green. The crop is there, the crop has flowered, it's formed the seed heads and all of the rest of it, so it's just there and it's got to dry out. So then you harvest it and you leave it in windrows in the field for... And this is a bit that I don't know. How long do you leave it in the windrows in the field? And do you need to go and spray it or anything like that? Because here in the UK, we generally go over the fields like a week before they're due to be harvested with Roundup, so that it kills everything off, and then it harvests a lot more uniformly and a lot easier. Not everybody does that, but a lot of farmers do. So in Canada, and I think in some places in the States as well, it's quite a common thing to see all these great big swathers going out and swathing all the crop. I don't know where else this is done. I don't know where else in the world this is done. I know I've seen it in videos of farming in Canada, but I don't know if it's done anywhere else. So anybody that knows anything about the swathing of the grains, the wheat, the barley, the canola, or the rapeseed, depending on where you are in the world, what you call it, what do you do? What do you do in your part of the world, and how does the whole swathing thing work? Does it get swathed, and then does it lie there on the ground for like a week before you go along with the combines? I'm assuming it's got to stay there for a little bit so that the crop will actually dry out properly. But how long does it need to be left? I would also assume that it wouldn't be turned or anything like that, because that would shake it up and destroy it. So it literally has just got to be cut, and then it's got to be left in the field. But how long for? Right, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to press H like that, and I'm going to let the combine, the hired help, is now going to do the rest of it. So it should, in theory, put all of this field into one combine load. At least this is what I'm assuming. So while that one's doing that, I'm going to have this one here, and I've got this trailer. I'm not going to need this trailer. I'm not actually going to need it. So what I'm going to do is I need to find somewhere to put this trailer. We have limited space. We'll see if we can squeeze it back in here. I don't think I've got anything in behind there. So I want to stuff it sort of back into this corner a little bit. In round here. There we go. Now I can still reach my fertilizer spinner. That's the important part there. So I'll unhitch you. And I now need to go racing back up to the who's me call it up here, the dealership. And we want to get a baler. We're not going to be able to buy it. We don't have the money to buy it. But I would like to buy a square baler. And I'd also like to buy, to lease a square baler. And I'd also like to get an Artisan trailer. I don't want to be handling bales by themselves. So if I get the Artisan, that one, I ought to be able to afford to buy that and lease the baler. So that'll be the two things that we need. We'll worry about getting a wrapper later on. Maybe we will, maybe we won't. I'm not quite sure at the moment. We'll look into that. That should speed things up a little bit with any of our baling. And plus the Artisan, instead of being like the Ursus bale collector, the round one, that only takes 8. The Artisan one for the square bales, that takes 16 bales. So obviously it's a lot faster, a lot more efficient. That's kind of what we want. Right, rock on up to Carlo's Reliable Motors. There we go, rock on in. And I want to go to baling technology. Where is it? Can anybody see it? I see it, it's right there. I got this, don't worry. We go to you, and then we go to lease right there, 5,355. It's 1,000 a day. Per operating hour is 2,200. It's not cheap to get this one. It's not cheap, but it'll be worth it. Ooh, no. Okay, well, it's a good job that I didn't have enough money. It's got to be said. Right, that one there is 54 grand. We'll lease that one if we're going to use it. This one right here, that one there, I tried using that one before. Bale collector right there, it stacks up the 3 bales. I did not like that one at all. I did not like it at all. It was horrible. And this bale trailer here, some people have reported some issues with it, but generally it should be all right. I don't know, but anyway, this is the one that I want. And now, tough call. Do we buy or lease? I think we buy. I think we buy this one. That's going to keep us going for a bit. Then it's one thing that we don't have to lease. So there's one less thing on the leasing stuff, and it's also, you know, it's something that we're going to be using. We are going to use it. We'll probably do another contracting job or two, and we're certainly going to be using it for our own farm. We're going to need these bales, so buying it is the better option if we can. Now, I think this tractor will struggle a little bit with this baler on the hills. However, it will do it. I noticed this with the John Deere that I've been using in Felsbrunn. On the steeper hills, it does struggle with the baler. That being said, we don't tend to use it that much on steep hills, so it's probably going to be all right. We're not going to have to worry about it too much. That field right there has had a field of ripe corn for a very long time now. I'm not exactly sure how long it's had a field of ripe corn there, but it has been there for a while. We've got a field of spray on our right-hand side, a field of weeds rather, field 22 on our right-hand side. That's covered in weeds there. Field 23 is also covered in weeds, so there's a very good chance that there's a job or two for doing something with those. Whether it's spraying, I think it might actually be weeding. So it may be worth us looking into getting a weeder and doing a couple jobs there, because I haven't bought a weeder yet. The Case tractor I don't think can take narrow wheels, so that one wouldn't be any good for it. The combine is doing a wonderful job. We'll leave the combine just carrying on doing what it's doing. We're going to start with our baler over here, and I'm going to go straight into this on here. I don't know if I don't spray for these weeds and instead I just cultivate straight in. Does that remove the weeds? See, I told you he's going to struggle a little bit going up the hill with his baler. It's not going to struggle massively. It is going to be able to do it. The tractor does have the power to pull it up the hill, but it is going to struggle a little bit. The baler itself is actually quite good. It's quite realistic as well. Helper C has a nearly full grain tank. We'll just go and have a look at that in a minute. Wrong way. There we go. And just press H onto there. So what I'm going to do with this is, rather than worry about anything in particular, let's just pop that one out, spin round over here, and empty it straight into the store. We don't have to mess around with trailers. I did just wallop the front of that one on the concrete down there, which is probably not the best way to go treating it, but it, you know, what's done is done. I've never seen that before. I've seen it in this game, this great big extra bed underneath where all the rapeseed goes in, but I've never actually seen it in real life. I've only ever seen just like a normal header with these knives on the edges, there and there. And actually, no, we are in the States, so it will actually be canoed. I found out the other day, I don't actually know this because I was looking it up. I'm pretty sure people have told me, but we have rapeseed in the UK. It's called rapeseed. It's called and then rapeseed oil. If you look on the ingredients list on your vegetable oil, if you go into the shop and you buy vegetable oil, the main ingredient is rapeseed oil, and actually a lot of it is just called rapeseed oil. It's so that's the name of it, and so that's why you will see that name in the game. Now, I'm assuming that just for diplomatic reasons they use the name canola across the board, but what you grow in the States, canola, States and Canada, and what we grow over in the UK as rapeseed, I believe are two different varieties of the same plant. Rapeseed tends to be slightly more bitter with the oil, whereas yours is a cultivar that was bred in, I think it was the 1960s or 1970s. And I'm sure people have actually told me this before. I'm absolutely certain that people have told me this before. And so it was just various selective breeding of the rapeseed plant and that gave the canola cultivar, although the States and Canada, you generally refer to all of these types of plants as canola now rather than rapeseed. And then the rest of the world seems to be quite mixed. It really does. I'd not heard of canola before I played this game. I just assumed that everybody called it oilseed rape or rapeseed. And but I do generally try to avoid sometimes I call it that out of habit, or I just say OSR. I do try to avoid using the name unless I'm actually explaining what I'm doing, because I am aware that in some places you've not heard it being called that before, and it may have some quite negative sort of connotations with the name. So yeah, I do try to avoid using the name that we use here in the UK, the rapeseed name, unless I'm actually explaining what it is and why, because of obvious reasons. But yeah, it was just because I was looking at it the other day, because somebody was asking about this very same thing. They'd never heard it called this before. And then also, only like a few days before that, I'd seen a comment about how a mod in FS17 would accept wheat, barley, rape, and corn. Or maize, rather. It said maize. It said wheat, barley, rape, and maize. And I didn't think anything of it. It was just normal. And then someone said, well, surely that seriously? That's got to be a typo. And then it was like, oh, of course. Duh. They don't call it that everywhere else in the world, do they? And you look in go into the supermarket here in the UK, and it's there printed clearly on the side of a whole load of the vegetable oil bottles. And some of the... I've got tubs of rapeseed oil in my cupboard right now that we use for cooking. It's so yeah, it's sometimes the different names that we use in different places, I'm aware, are potentially upsetting to some people, and so I do try to understand that it can be upsetting. But I also, just for anybody that's not aware, when I'm talking about OSR or anything like that, that's because that's what we call it here in the UK, and sometimes it's force of habit. Sometimes it's just like that's what I've always called it, so I don't always refer to it as canola. I do try to just refer to it as canola because it's just easier across the board, and everybody understands what I'm talking about anyway. But yeah, I just wanted to clarify that, just in case anybody was like, well, hang on a minute, what exactly are you talking about here, Frith? That's what I mean. That's what I'm talking about. We're going very slow. This tractor is actually struggling a little bit to pull this baler. I'm thinking, because this tractor actually takes the narrow wheels anyway, and the case over there is a wee bit more powerful than this one, it might be a good idea to swap the two over. It might be that we want to have the case tractor on this baler, and then this tractor can go off and do some other stuff. There may be the odd contracting job that we could put it going with. I know that we could do with a weeder on the farm. I mean, maybe we could just run the weeder over this. We could scratch these weeds completely off of here. We've got our first bale out of the baler. We'll go once round the field. We'll see how it does. It ought to do all right going down the hill. If it can't pull it down the hill without any issues, then there's something seriously wrong. There is something seriously wrong if you can't get a turn of speed going downhill. That much I do know. I've had cars that will go exceptionally well so long as you're going downhill with the wind behind you. And this tractor appears to be much the same with this particular baler. Downhill with the wind behind us, it works very, very well. Highly efficiently. I'll bring that one around there. We've finished our combining job. That is all done. That field over there is not going to need anything except replanting. Actually, it will. It'll need lime. And we want lime on this field over here, I think. So lime is going to be our next big task. We're going to need to go and get some. Now, lime is used up at a phenomenal rate, if I remember correctly. So I don't really want to just go and buy bags from the dealership. I mean, we could buy bags and just, like, park next to it. But I'd rather actually go to the lime, like, provider mill place and get them from there. It's going to be easier if we do that. Right, we're definitely changing tractors. I'm starting to question the wisdom, though, of disappearing off, of buying the Artisan. Definitely questioning the wisdom of buying that Artisan, because it's taking a while to do this, isn't it? Right, I'll just lift that one up. I'll unhitch that baler and I'll leave it there. Yeah, because I could have upgraded our case tractor one more upgrade and had an even bigger engine on it. Let's have a look a minute. What have we got? No, I don't want to look there. I want to look here, don't I? And then go to the garage. So you are a 240 horsepower tractor. You, however, are only 214 horsepower. Okay, so you're a weaker tractor. You're 240, you're 214. Right, I honestly thought that the case tractor had been improved. Right, well, let's go to here a second, and then we go to medium, and we go to case right there. The biggest engine, that takes up to 261, so we can get an extra 20 horsepower over what the Fendt has got. That's going to... Oh, of course, yeah, it's an extra 20-odd thousand. I've got a loan. I do have a loan at the moment, but that loan is ever increasing. It really is. This is getting bigger and bigger and bigger. Right, field 22 is cultivating at the moment. We could go and do that. And field 23 is spraying for weeds. So we don't actually need anything extra. We could go and do this. Field 23 and field 22. Those are the two that we want to sort of work, I think, if we can, for different jobs. Don't think you get the land any cheaper by doing jobs, do you? I think that's a thing of the past now. 202,000, or 203, and then that one over there is 280. Yeah, I don't think it changes. Right, one was cultivating, and one was doing something else, wasn't it? So let's go back. Hang on a minute. Hang on. I'm thinking. I know. You can hear the thinking. It's very loud. We're up to $2,000 per 1,000 litres for wool. Now, that's not bad. There's a bit of cash for us. We've got, at present, 7,000 there. We've got 2,290 there at the restaurant for canola. I could run that up. I could get that. I got 10,000 there. There's another two. We're not going to be growing sunflowers at all, so we may as well take that up and sell it. You know what? We're going to sell a few crops. And we're going to get our engine upgrade for that case. And we're going to do another job as well. And we're going to get some more money. We've got the sprayer. We've got the weed killer in the sprayer. Okay, that was a little bit odd. We've got the sprayer. We've got the weed killer in the sprayer. So we don't need to worry about that. So we've got 18,000 on barley there. Barley's... the price not that great. Oats, we're keeping the oats as they are at the moment. And then the canola there, 2,290 at the restaurant. The restaurant is the nearest delivery point as well, which is good. So I'm thinking that we just grab the 7 tons out of here. Plus we bring the combine down and dump what's in there straight into this one. And that is a nice little bit then. Go to you. No. No. There. So we've got canola. We've got 10,000 there. 15,000 litres of soybeans. And we got 15,000 litres of corn as well. But it's the canola that I want first. And beans over here. 2,700 at the ranch. That's pretty good. The corn's not great. Where's the ranch? It's not that far away, I don't think. Right. I'll go and get you as well. There's another 3,000. That's 10,000 litres for the canola. 10,000 is not too bad. We can cope with that. Unfold you, and we'll dump that into the trailer as well. And then that 10,000 got to be sold. And then we'll come back and we'll get the sunflowers and we'll run those up and we'll sell those. And possibly we will sell the beans. That means we can get an upgrade then for the case tractor to 260 horsepower. And that one can then be the baler tractor for here. While that one's doing the baling, the Fendt over here, this bad boy can then run up the road and do a bit of spraying and also do a bit of cultivating. Actually, no, you can't do 2 jobs. I was just thinking, oh, we could just do 2 jobs. But you can't. You cannot do 2 jobs at once in this game. You cannot get 2 contracts at once, which is a bit of a shame, because otherwise I'd be able to put the cultivator on the small tractor and I'd be able to do that. We need to find somewhere to store our combine. I'll tell you what, I'll take it over to the wash pad because it needs to be cleaned up first before we do anything else. No matter what else we're going to do with the combine, it does need to be cleaned. We need to clean the chickens. I've got another job that I want to do with those chickens anyway. Stop you there. I'll lower that down. That can rest on the floor like that. Right, that's that bit done. You're going to stop there. I want to go to you first. 10,208. Run you to the restaurant. Actually, before I take you to the restaurant, let's go to you. And I'm going to unhitch this one here so that I don't forget. I've got a stump that I need to grind off. But before I go grinding off any stumpies, I'm going to go and get the cultivator, because there is that job here that we can do. We got the spraying on field 23, but field 22 over here doesn't have any of that. We can just accept contract. It's only $700 that we get for doing that. And using this small tractor with the small cultivator is going to take a fair while, and it's probably going to use up $200 worth of wages, but it's still a little bit of extra income coming in. And that might also open us up to a slightly bigger and better paying job in a bit. So I'm not going to worry about it too much. We'll just whip you back through there. Get you onto there, and... Right, which one was it? Was it field 22 or field 23? I think it was field 22. Right. And now I need to go racing up the road at breakneck speeds to field 23. 22, rather. Going along the road with this one, I really do have a strong vibe of driving Miss Daisy. I really do. Just chugging along gently like this. Definitely feeling this whole driving Miss Daisy kind of vibe. I've never actually seen the film, so I've no idea if this is anything actually to do with driving Miss Daisy. And no, I don't have any intentions of going to see the film either. I've seen like a very brief clip, and honestly, it does not look like the sort of film that would interest me in the slightest. I don't like old films like that. I don't like old style films. Sen absolutely loves like musicals like Oklahoma and stuff like that. Oh, I can't stand them. Awful stuff. I really can't. I know that some of you will absolutely love them, and, you know, by all means, go and enjoy them. But just, for goodness sake, don't expect me to sit down beside you and watch them as well, because it's not going to happen. Sen will watch those films. She'll watch them quite a lot. She'll watch them over and over. And likes of 7 Brides for 7 Brothers. It's another one she likes watching. I've seen bits of it, and I genuinely struggle to understand why anybody would want to put themselves through that, from beginning to end. There are many other things that I've found that are more entertaining than watching things like Oklahoma and 7 Brides for 7 Brothers, and what was another one she watched? Is it South Pacific? Is that another one? Yeah, there are many things that I prefer to do that rather than watch those. And yeah, well, actually, most things I prefer to do. There's I would rather spend an hour and a half. I hate washing dishes, by the way. I absolutely despise it. Like you wouldn't believe. It's to do with childhood thing. It used to be used as a punishment for me. And so now I really hate doing the dishes. And I don't do dishes. That's one thing I very rarely wash dishes. Sen does that bit. She's, you know, that's just an agreement that we have. I'll do other things, but dishes, yeah, no. So anyway, I would rather wash dishes for like an hour and a half, 2 hours than sit and watch one of those films. It like that. It's, yeah, no, I can't stand them. I've gone too far. I was sidetracked by the horror of having to watch something like Oklahoma, and it just flooded my mind with absolute terror, and I missed the turning. That's what happened. I'm blaming it on the films. I'm sure some of you like those films. I've absolutely no doubt that some of you like those films. And if you like them, well then, yeah, but, you know, I'm sure Sen would be great friends with you. And you'd be able to talk about them, and you'd be able to say how wonderful they were. Just don't expect me to agree with you. Just don't expect me to go along and say, oh yeah, you know, really good films. Yeah, go for it. Yeah. I'll sit down and watch them with you. Because, no, it's not going to happen. I am not going to sit down and watch those films. If I'm not prepared to sit down and watch them with Sen Leia, then I'm not prepared to sit down and watch them with anyone. Okay? That lady, that woman who I'm married to, is the absolute center of my universe. Okay? That I may, you know, we may complain, we may joke, and that you know, there's obviously arguments. We've got a long-term relationship. We've been together for 15 years, but there is just make no, like, there's no beating around the bush on it or anything. She's my absolute best friend, the closest person there is to me, and I share absolutely everything with her. She is the center of my universe. If I'm not prepared to sit down and watch one of those films with her, then nobody else has got a chance. It's never going to happen. Right? I did once watch one of those films with her. I can't remember which one it was. It was torturous. It was horrible. It was... I did it once. I agreed to do it once just to give it a chance. And I did get through the film, but it will never happen again. I promise you that. I cannot remember which one it was. It may have been the Seven Brides one. I seem to remember bits of that one. I think I actually fell asleep for a part of it. Mercifully, I fell asleep. So I didn't actually have to endure the entire thing. I fell asleep, and so I was spared some of the pain. But, yeah, I wasn't spared all of it. And I do remember her saying, well, surely if you fell asleep, that means you should watch another one so that you can actually enjoy it. No. No way. And she said, don't you love me enough? And I looked her right in the eyes and I said, no. Definitely not. And that was the end of that. So, no. If I'm not prepared to sit and watch one of those with her, then it's never going to happen with anyone else. It doesn't matter. I'm not going to do it. I mean, obviously, if someone rocked up, you know, you get people say, oh, I wouldn't do that for £1 million. I wouldn't do that for $1 million, $1 million, whatever you want to call it. I would happily sit through all 3 of the aforementioned films 10 times back to back for £1 million. I would happily do that. I really would. I'd probably fall asleep, but I would do it. For £1 million, I'd do a lot of things for £1 million. I'm not going to sit here and say I wouldn't do that for £1 million, because we all know that's not true. Of course it's true. Of course I would. I'm not stupid. Well, okay, I probably am, but I'm not that stupid. I'm not that idiotic. But no, if there's no money or... If there's no money involved or anything like that, then, no, it ain't happening. It's just not going to happen. Right. We have now sold $50,000 worth of crops here at the restaurant. This restaurant must be doing very well for itself. I'm bringing in sunflowers and canola just so that it can make the oil to fry their chips. And they've just given me 50 grand for it. They're doing very well for themselves in there. They're doing, I don't know what the secret is, because there's not a lot of people around in this town. It's got to be said. It's a fairly quiet town. But, yeah, if they're willing to give me that kind of money, I'm willing to take it. Yeah. That's all I need to say about that, really. If they're willing to pay it, I'm willing to take it. So, yeah. If you're going to offer me obscene amounts of money to sit and watch one of those films, I'll do it. Because, yeah, money. It helps to pay bills and things like that. That's a good thing. But no, other than that, it's not happening. I'm not going to voluntarily sit through one of those films. Tell me in the comments section, how many of you actually like those films? Do you love those sorts of musicals and stuff? Because I'm not a fan of musicals to start with. Sweeney Todd, if you're under 18, you should not have seen that film. And if you have seen that film under 18, I'm very disappointed. I am officially very disappointed, okay? I'm giving you my disappointed look right now. It's not very effective. It's not a very effective disappointed look, it must be said. My grandmother, she has a disappointed look that can make you... It makes grown men quake in fear. It really... Look! Cedar has done that really weird thing again. Somebody else said that they've also had this little issue with the Cedar doing that thing. And it's done it again with us. I'm going to see if I can unhitch the Cedar before... Are we going to be able to do it? Are we going to be able to unhitch this thing? But yeah, that thing where it sort of twists around strangely. I'm not the only person that has experienced this. Apparently it's this Cedar. I don't know if it's all Cedars or if it's just this one, but apparently this one definitely, it does have this. And other people said that they've also experienced said issue with said Cedar. So, I'm not the only one, I'm quite pleased to say. Yeah, my grandmother, okay, she can give people the disappointed look. Now, we all know a delightful old lady who can just look disappointed. It doesn't matter what you've done, she's just got to give you this look. And she's not angry, she's not upset, she's just disappointed. She's just a little bit disappointed with you. And you see the disappointed look. You know the disappointed look that I'm talking about. 23,500 right here. We'll customize that bad boy. Thank you very much. We've now got a bigger engine on. We've got 261 horses. Underneath that bonnet right there, that is fabulous. We'll take this one and we're going to start doing some baling now. So my grandmother, she can give the disappointed look. I'm attempting to give the disappointed look right now. Why am I giving the disappointed look? Sweeney Todd! Sweeney Todd, if you've watched Sweeney Todd and you're under 18, I am trying to project the spirit of my grandmother straight at you with a disappointed look. And it's probably not coming off very well. I need my gran to turn up. She'll do it. She will give you the disappointed look. You will be weeping tears onto your boots in shame, you will. Seriously. I'm not kidding. I'm absolutely not kidding. You would be weeping your tears onto your boots. And you'd be promising all sorts if she would just not ever look at you like that again, because that is the sort of thing that nobody ever wants to see. It's just that look like I had such high hopes for you, and this is what you went and did. And it doesn't matter. Everybody knows someone like this. You all know someone like this. You all know someone who can give you that look. It's far more effective than anything else in existence. It's one of the most powerful forces known to man. Forget nuclear power. You could power entire nations on a disappointed look from my grandmother, and everybody knows someone who can produce that same source of power. It's the ultimate source of power. Old ladies thrive on it. They do. She's like 80... I forget how old Gran is now. 84, I think? Might be 83. Something like that. And, yes, she is a force to be reckoned with. An absolute force to be reckoned with. You do not want to experience the wrath of the look. And it's not wrath. It's not wrath at all. It's disappointment. It's just disappointment. And it's quiet disappointment. That's what makes it even worse. So, yeah, you can tell me about that. But I want to know... musicals. Where do you stand on musicals? Are you a musical fan? Do you despise them as much as I do? Sweeney Todd is the only musical I've watched that I actually liked. That one I did enjoy Sweeney Todd. Other than that one, I've not found a musical that I've ever actually enjoyed sitting through. I don't think I have. Are there any others? I like Sweeney Todd. I'm just trying to think if there are any others. No, Disney films don't count. You cannot include the Disney films. You can't tell me that Aladdin was a musical. Okay, just because I've seen Aladdin about 1,500 times, and there are songs in it, it's not a musical. Doesn't count. So, go away with your Disney films and your Aladdin and your Lion King. Hakuna Matata. You are not telling me that is officially a musical. No, it's not a musical. It's a Disney film. It's different. Okay? End of. I'm not having it. I'm absolutely not having it. You're not going to ruin my love of Disney films and all things animated. I love animated films. I really do. It drives Sen mad because I love them more than the kids. Oh, there is one that is actually a musical, and that is Tim Burton's The Nightmare Before Christmas. It is the ultimate Halloween film and also the ultimate Christmas film, so I get to watch it twice a year. That one is amazing. And then you've got the Muppets Christmas Carol. We mustn't forget the Muppets Christmas Carol. That, I suppose you could class that as a musical as well. Okay, so there's another one that I like. But you know the ones that I don't like. I've said the ones that I don't like, and you know exactly what I mean when I say I don't like musicals. So stop trying to be picky. I'm foreseeing the arguments that some of you are putting forth. I'm getting to know some of you pretty well by now, and I can already see these arguments. But what about Disney films, Frith? You've said before you like animated films. How can you say you don't like Aladdin and be a fan of Disney film? Aladdin's not a musical. I've said this before. I've already said it, and I'm saying it again. That's not a musical. Doesn't count. Tim Burton's The Nightmare Before Christmas and Muppets Christmas Carol, you can count those as musicals, and Sweeney Todd, which is not quite so family-friendly as likes of Aladdin and Lion King and Nightmare Before Christmas. Yeah, that's a good film. That one I liked. It's got, what's her name? It's got both of them in it. What's his name and what's her name? Helena Bonham Carter, her, and she does crazy better than anybody, doesn't she? She is absolutely amazing at playing crazy. And then you've got, who is it? Johnny Depp. Yes, Johnny Depp. And he does crazy as well. The two of them together doing crazy, that is just, it's a match made in heaven. It really is. Those two together, that's perfect. That's wonderful. That's a good. It's a good match. It's a really good match. Anyway, I've become somewhat. I diverted. I digressed just a little bit. Right. Well, we're doing some baling. We're not going to finish our baling today. What I'm going to do is I'm going to finish that line there, and then I'm going to pop down here, and we're going to do this line along here. And then we'll do the rest of our baling in our next episode, which, actually, yeah, I'll be recording that one before Christmas as well. So that one is, I think I'm recording that one later today, actually. It's Thursday, Friday for me. I've got the live stream to do in a bit. That's later today. Not the Farming Simulator one, I got the other one. You'll have already seen the live stream, so you'll know if it's gone well or not. You'll know if I've even done the live stream. In theory, I'm doing the live stream in a couple of hours' time. Whether or not it actually happens is another matter, because strange things do happen from time to time, and plans don't always go to plan. I'm hoping, by the time you see this video, I will have done that live stream. It will have been Friday evening at 8 o'clock. Just in case you want to know when the live stream is going to be last weekend, it's going to be at 8 o'clock. You can go and see when it was with the video. See? It's this whole TARDIS. I said I was going to do one row, and that was it. So there we go. We've stopped. This is it. I do have to wrap up this episode. So, I really hope that you had a wonderful Christmas. I really hope that you had a wonderful December the 25th. Whatever it is that you did on December the 25th. Whatever you did yesterday, I really hope that you had fun. Let me know about the whole musical things. No, Aladdin is not a musical. I'm telling you again, Udo Major, isn't it? It's Major. I'm sure it's Major. I'm looking directly at you because I know you're going to come back at me saying that it is a musical, although you probably won't be watching it because I think you said that you're taking a break from YouTube for a few days at Christmas because of family. Who else? We've got Patrio Graysmark. You're probably going to tell me that it's a musical, although I don't know what you guys down in Aussie land think of musicals. I honestly don't. I don't remember much in the way of musicals when I lived in Australia and New Guinea. So there's a very good chance that you could be telling me that those are musicals, or you're trying to tell me. No, they're not. I'm telling you right now. And I'm not going to list anybody else's names. There are many, many, many of you who comment frequently on my videos. I'm getting an ever-growing list of people who comment frequently on my videos. But I'm just pulling out two names who I'm pretty certain are going to come up and say, but Frith, this one's a musical. No, it's not. No, it's not. Calling you out right now before you go any further with that. Right, anyway, I really do have to go. And I am loving the way that the machine is now, the paint is wearing off. Look, we started off and now the paint is wearing off on the discs and stuff. That is so cool. Somebody told me that does happen. And I didn't believe them. I did believe them. I hadn't seen it, and now I see it, and it looks even cooler in real life than I imagined seeing it. It's actually really awesome. Right, anyway, I do have to go, so if you've enjoyed this episode, then please head down below and give us a like, and if you really enjoyed it, then please tell your friends all about me, get them to come and watch as well, that would be awesome. And until next time, thank you very much for watching, this is Frithgar, goodbye, and see you later.